You are listening to Ordinary Eccentrics. I'm Courtney Lofton, and together we'll uncover the extraordinary lives of ordinary people. Let's hop into it. So we'll jump right into it, and I'll have you just start by introducing yourself, first and last name.
My name is Lidija Poth.
And Lydia, where did you grow up? Where were you born and raised?
Oh, I grew up in Balkans, actually, in Yugoslavia. That's the eastern part of Europe, southeastern. Yeah, I grew up there.
What was it like growing up there?
I just before this podcast, I started thinking about it. It was nice. It was like very safe area, a lot of space to play, and school was close by, and everything. I must say I had a really good childhood. It was really beautiful there. Also, nice nature. Yeah, it was good.
Mm-hmm. Did you have siblings, or do you have siblings?
Yes, I have a brother. He's two years younger than I am. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So you're the
And he
oldest
lives.
child?
Yes, I'm the oldest one. Yeah.
Have you found that, I feel like stereotypically the oldest children are the more responsible. Have you found that to be true?
It's you feel like it, you behave like it, but whether it
Mm-hmm.
is always like that, I don't know anymore. Before I would be I would agree, but now I think kind of differently about it.
Yeah. Tell me
Yeah.
more about growing up, what you were like in school, what you thought life would be like when you were younger.
Oh, let me think about it. Oh, the world was under my feet. I thought, I don't know, I was dreaming big,
Mm-hmm.
singing, dancing, doing all those things, and having my own library at home with
Mm.
other children. So my parents were not always happy because the books were going around the neighborhood. And we were playing on the streets. There were not so many cars at that time,
Mm.
and like skating, I don't know, playing soccer, playing how do you call it, table tennis.
Oh yeah,
It's
ping pong. Yeah,
ping
table
pong,
tennis.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
things like that. It was really nice. Kind of, I was the different child.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit raised differently because my father has a German roots and my mother is from there originally. So it's sort of, while growing up, I enjoy it a lot, but I always kind of felt a little bit different.
And
Um,
just the way you were raised, or yeah, tell me
Yeah,
more.
I think so, but just way how I was thinking. Also, my parents were very democratic. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
other parents would say to children, "You should go to this school, do that, and this," but my parents didn't do that. Of course, they were expecting me to finish elementary school well. I was lazy, let me put it that way. Secondary school, I applied myself for a civic. Um, secondary school. It was sort of a technical school, and I
Mm-hmm.
liked it a lot, but it was easy. And also after that, I also applied for my study myself. So I did kind of everything that I liked. I did myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it was sort of a small environment. Let's say about 50,000 people live there. It was really safe, and I would like walk everywhere, and I would greet everybody, sort of
Mm.
having this ikigai feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Just feeling really good. And I was always smiling, always smiling. And I also, while I was in puberty, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
that was the aunt of my father, but I called her grandmother. She was, how do you call it, making clothes.
Mm.
She was. I don't know the word for it in English. She was making beautiful clothes. I would draw everything, and she will make anything that I was drawing, and she was earning money with it for years. She was really good. She was sort of, yeah, she was a tailor. She was a
Oh.
really good one. She was a really good one. And that was also during the puberty when you don't want to do and to have much to do with your parents. I was spending
Mhm.
my time there. She wasn't asking that much, and uh, so it felt safe because when
Yeah.
you're 16, 50, 15 or 16 or 17, you don't want to talk so much to your parents or anything, So
Yeah.
yeah. But it was a good time, And yeah, so that was the last years. And when I was small, my mother was ill a lot, so I was
Mhm.
going from one grandmother to the other one. So
Mhm.
spending a lot of time with my father or at grandma's, and that was a kind of difficult time, I suppose. But I think I forgot that because I did so many other nice things. It was like that. She was
Mhm.
ill, and then she came back, and everything was fine. So happy
Yeah.
story.
Right. It kind of
Yeah,
fades away. You were
yeah,
talking about
sure.
like designing clothes and your grandmother sewing them up for you. How did you get into like clothing design and like, that sort of creative
Oh,
outlet?
oh, I liked it. I was drawing it always, and I
Mhm.
because I was seeing her making it for years, and I started pretending. And this is a really good question. When I was even younger, my mother had like a lot of clothes and stuff for my grandma to make clothing of it. And I would just
Mhm.
take out of the closet, and I would just put around me, wrap around me, and make something nice about of it.
Mhm.
And I liked it, and I was doing really crazy things. And after that, started drawing, and then
Mhm.
she was making things for me, and that was really really special. I
Yeah.
even I don't know, for my prom, I she made a clothing for me, and I have still pictures of it. It was really really special, a little bit
Wow.
eccentric. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you still draw today?
Well, no, I don't. I don't. I should have, because it should have been a part of my profession. Actually, I'm architect by profession.
Oh yeah.
But I don't do that much anymore with it, you know? It's like also with the clothing, what you just what I was telling about. My mother just supported me to apply for a competition or something, and I did it
Mhm.
once, and it didn't work. So I said, "You see, it's not working." But that's not the way how you should do it. If you really want something badly, then you go for it. But that
Right.
other part, like drawing, I wanted to be architect, and I really dreamt about it. I want to build buildings and everything. I want to design special buildings, and I was drawing
Mhm.
it. But somehow it was one of the things that I was doing during my journey. Let me put it that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I did it for some years, and I've been drawing buildings and
Tell me
stuff
more
like that.
about that. Tell me more about your interest in architecture and how that came to be.
Oh, my uncle is architect.
Mhm.
He was actually he built it and designed some buildings in the center of this town, and the public space. And I was
Mhm.
kind of proud of him.
Mhm.
And and somehow I wanted to probably to associate with him. I think now that I'm older and wiser, I know that one. And
Mhm.
I wanted to be architect. And even I was drawing at my secondary school, and I was really interested in architects, their life, their styles and everything. And I did. I applied for the study in my country, but I
Mhm.
didn't have enough points, so I couldn't be architect at that time, and I studied city planning. But after
Oh
that,
yeah.
yeah, that one. But when I came to the Netherlands, where I live now for already for
Mhm.
30 years, I again I wanted to be architect. This urge was so big. And I finished studying, and I became architect, and I worked for a kind of big architectural firm for 10 years.
Mhm.
And there was a crisis in a building sector, and I quit, or I had to go. And later on, I started for myself again. But somehow, I discovered along the way that this was not actually the life that I wanted to live for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
Bec- because it looks very nice. It's maybe 2 or 3% is about nice things about designing, and the rest
Mhm.
is arranging. You have to be like a bookkeeper, and also to calculate things, to have your books done well.
Mhm.
And also to do your network, to arrange things, to look for housing, to do your marketing. It
Mhm.
contains many other things, and probably if I would love that more than I did,
Mhm.
I should have been doing it. Like here in the Netherlands, also there are, from all
Mhm.
around the world, and I um I didn't like that. Somehow I didn't want to be like they are, and I wanted to do something for humanity, for
Mhm.
people, because architecture is not about people. It should be. It's not about people, it's about buildings, it's about the rocks, as my children would say. It's about like you make something nice, it's there. It's like designing a chair. There is a known, very famous Dutch architect, Rietveld. His Gerrit Rietveld. His chairs are
Mhm.
beautiful, his houses are beautiful, but they are not comfortable. His chairs are not comfortable. And that's again going back to architecture. I didn't want to be part of that one. I
Yeah.
didn't want to just to make something, that it stands there and people use it, because I felt every time that we should have follow more the path of users,
Right.
and yeah, so I kind of, yeah, let it be. I still have my small firm, but I don't do much about
Mhm.
it. And with it, sometimes research or something, or
Do you think that there's been creativity that like there's a like the creativity of architecture has kind of bled out of the field and it's been more about efficiency?
it's for one part is efficiency, for the other part is like having a big name. It's just
Mm.
like it's a branding. If you are Koolhaas, you are, and he's a Dutch, and also like Winnie Maas, he's also Dutch, and he builds so many things, and it's beautiful. You have
Mhm.
few of the Danish ones, also big ones, Americans architects from UK architects. They were really really great architects, but you have to have this urge, and there should be the timing, the qualities, your energy. Everything has to come together, and probably also having children, and doing also some other things, also teaching at university.
Mm.
I've really did so many things. So this was just one part of my journey. I
Mhm.
call it again that, because I feel that way about all the things that I have been doing till now in my life.
Yeah.
So
I want to backtrack just for a second because
yeah,
The Netherlands, and I think particularly Amsterdam, is a pretty well-known place for city planning and architecture. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, like Amsterdam is like let's say like from 16 1700 you have those channels and all those
Mm-hmm.
beautiful houses and in the center there is not so much space for modern architecture. There are some
Mm-hmm.
buildings, yeah, like if you place one building between the all the existing buildings, but it's more than the question how skilled the architect is within the interpolation of this building between those other buildings, and it's mostly, or just
Mm-hmm.
it's like I think people from all around the world come to see those buildings. It's like there
Mm-hmm.
is a really great market hall from the Dutch architect Winnie Maas. There is the Swan. It's called a very beautiful blue bridge where I live very close by, or those beautiful skyscrapers from OMA. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I work in one of them.
Oh.
So there are really beautiful things in here. It's really more modern architecture because Rotterdam has to be rebuilt after Second World War because there was a lot of it was just gone
Mm-hmm.
during the war. So there was a chance for architects to rebuild everything. And I must say, many architects from all around the world was studying also in the Netherlands because,
Yeah.
and that's the place where I was working. That's Technical University in Delft. So many people really from all around the world study there, and
Is
especially
Delft where you taught?
yeah, yeah, yes, and I really liked it, teaching at university. And you know what I said just about the people coming, they just do
Mm-hmm.
for this exchange, or there was also this really famous Berlage Institute was also placed for some years at university building. And people after graduating, they will do their research, their PhD at Berlage Institute. I didn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
but I was teaching architecture and city planning, and also the academic research, also at university. Yeah, and I liked it. And maybe that was the breaking point in which I decided not to go further with architecture.
The teaching after teaching it and
After
teaching city
teaching,
planning.
yes, teaching all those different skills, and also teaching all those different young people, wanting to be the same as those other architects, like Winnie
Mm-hmm.
Maas, or I don't know, there are many of them. Yeah, and I've seen them struggling, and it was every step that I was taking there and helping them, because I must say, I wasn't really their teacher most of the time. I was very often their coach or their trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And we would do it together, in the groups, and have beautiful discussions about spatial planning, about architecture. And again, I tried to just to do something more about this movement of, like you probably you might heard about Arne Jacobsen, or there is the young Gale, or so. He's a Danish um, a landscape architect, and Arne
Mm-hmm.
Jacobsen as well. She was that too. She was also Danish. Um, so also he's teaching about just humanity in a cities. And
Mm-hmm.
I could use the New York as an example, like he was also tutoring and teaching Amanda Byrne, which was director of Bloomberg Association. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the first name of lady from Mobility, El Sadiki. those two ladies, they made big changes in New York, but he was one of their teachers.
Oh, wow.
So I really like that part of well, about city changes, just those transitions, just doing
Right.
something different. Like those ladies did some other beautiful things, but I love this part because it's about us, about how we move in a city,
Mhm.
how we behave in a city, how what is our place, what the buildings does do with us, and yeah,
Can you share
where we should
more
be.
about that for people, especially people like me who I understand and can appreciate architecture to the extent of someone had to design it and the effort it takes to create for something to really come to fruition. But for anyone who's listening who's wanting to have more of an appreciation or understanding of how architecture plays a role in our everyday lives, because really it does, we all live in something that's been designed and constructed. Can you kind of explain that?
Yeah. Well, the role, I think, if we talk about architecture and city planning, it's
Mhm.
like, oh, I have goosebumps. You are really triggering me. Thank you for that one, because I
Yeah.
know why I left it. Um, um, it should be about how you feel, like um, how big the space is, like
Mhm.
how is your room orientated? Do you have a big space outside of your rooms, like balcony or garden or terrace or whatever? That the climate is well done in your in your space where you live, where you sleep. That
Mhm.
that the building is not being built cheap, because
Mhm.
otherwise you will be cold, or it would be too cold in the winter, or it would be too hot in the summer in some areas.
Mhm.
So those kind of things are things that interest me. You have to have enough space. They have to be logical. Light has to be well done so that you feel comfortable. If it's too dark, you don't feel comfortable in that space, right?
Right.
And that's really important. Um, and also the also influence from the like, let's say, sounds from the city, that's also should be
Mhm.
kept outside, but also not too much, because you have this. It's also all about all those different about climate also, but I'm talking about climate in the buildings and not climate in general now.
Mhm.
So that's also important thing. uh, and that's really, I think, it's very personal. It's really personal. Sometimes you fall in love with a house. When you
Mhm.
go to look for a house or apartment, you fall in love with it. And then the thing is, what is it? Is it just maybe the tree in the garden, the windows, or maybe the lifestyle of the people that lived before? Because in this country, most of the time when you look for apartment or house, it's being decorated already. So
Mhm.
those are all different things which are important for people. And I will try, like, also, if you, let's say, if you live in a house and there are a house with a few, it's stories, I think you say it in English,
Mhm.
or the floors. And so if the stairs, before it was like you wouldn't even notice the stairs in a house. If the stairs were done well, it means that you just walk naturally, that's not too small to that you feel comfortable going up and down.
Mhm.
And nowadays it's more like um, sculpture. It's
Mhm.
beautiful, it can be really beautiful, it has to do with more money and everything. And you can, excuse me, And why I'm mentioning this, this is
Mhm.
really when you build a house for a few million.
Mhm.
But when we talk about basic things, social housing, there also should be, in base, this should be working well. It doesn't matter how much money you have,
Right.
but you should have those basic things in life being provided. And that's, for me, sometimes it's really, we look just how many square meters is the regulation. Do we fulfill those regulations or not?
Mhm.
That's about it. And I don't like those kind of things. Everybody can design a big villa. That's not a problem because people have a lot of money. Then the sky is the limit.
Right.
But the
But the
regular
the
housing,
challenge, yeah.
the challenge is in there, to just pick to design something small, functional, and still pretty and still healthy.
Mhm.
Healthy so that you have healthy climate, that you really feel well in your home, and that really feels like home and not just like an apartment,
Right.
because home is more than those square meters. If you have 50 or 100 or I don't know, 1,000 square meters or more.
Right. I
Yeah.
think I love that from what you've described. It's not just what's on the outside, like what the building looks like, but it's on the inside and how it makes you feel, how the person who's living there or working there feels being in that space.
Yeah, that's for me. That's important. Very important thing for me. Oh, I love history. I love those buildings. I
Mhm.
researched so many things about buildings in past, of the architecture and like architects. But that's something that I did and I like. But it's stored away. But when
Right.
you ask me about being architect and doing building things, then it's about the human scale. And also
Right.
when we go outside of the buildings, also I did with some cultural sessions, let's say in a city, like I have a foundation also for youngsters. I did it for 10 years. And sometimes I will talk with all those young people which are in music or art, and I don't know, they organize things. And we are talking with some people from a museum in Rotterdam, and
Mhm.
then just they will ask, how do you feel about this city? And they were saying, oh, it's cool, it's beautiful. But then we asked again, how do you really feel here? You feel that you belong here? And they were
Mm.
silent. They were silent because then they felt sort of alienated. They felt like there is it's something, there is a fancy store. It's nice, looks,
Mhm.
nicely looking. They are selling some things that you might want to have, but it's not part of who you are, and maybe it's not something that gives you identity.
Mhm.
And that's also the other thing for me, which is really important. If you do something, people want to associate with space where they live, city where they live, places where they just, which are in their environment. And
Mhm.
why I'm saying they should, this is my opinion that they should, because um, um, people, when they associate themselves with those kind of things, they feel much better in those
Mhm.
environments. I don't know. I did also some other things in spatial planning, also arranging and just advising for a big part of the city, um, and also talking about those kind of things. And you see that people just need to associate with something just to feel at home, feel at ease. When you're in a
Right.
forest, you feel faster at home, or maybe at sea, because it's nature. There is nothing that we did with it.
Right.
It
There's
just
nothing
that.
to separate. Right.
No. So there is no destruction, you know. And if
Mhm.
you do something and it's built for us, it's measuring our needs, it's fulfilling our needs, and
Mhm.
I think it will be something completely different. So that's my view of architecture and city planning.
Yeah.
And also what I'm really, really crazy about, and I try to do something about within the research on university, just mixing architecture with sound, with art,
Yeah.
with health. Also, I let students write about it, and I really was teaching about it. I hope that I place the seed, at least one group of students which are going to do this in the future. I hope so, really, because I felt like this was my mission.
Mhm.
So I really loved it. Yeah.
That's cool because sound is connected to energy as well. And so
Yes.
it's all kind of symbiotic where our environment that we live in, the sounds that it makes, the energy that it gives us or doesn't give us is really important to our quality of life.
Yes, yes. Oh, and I have to tell you this one. Also, I mentioned I had a foundation for youngsters,
Uh-huh.
and once I got just in touch with a platform for the art and music. It's called Warm in Rotterdam, and they
Mhm.
are really good in what they are doing. And I was supposed to do a Lego session with them, just rebuilding
Mm.
a city and everything. But there was COVID, and we did it online through Zoom. And there were people, DJs, dancers, photographers, architects, city planners. There was also a guy which is a dancer, and his mother from USA was just stuck in the Netherlands. And she was also doing this session. And
Mm.
we did this multi-sensoric session. I don't know if I pronounce it properly, like about just being in a city, how you feel, and also memory of the city. How you feel, how city smells, which sounds do you hear?
Yeah.
Uh, and it was beautiful. It was really, some people recorded sounds of their cats. I started session with the sounds from a friend of mine, which is music philosopher. He's
Uh,
also he did the research about the sounds in the city and stuff like that, and I really love that one. And it was so beautiful how people just moved and being created, not being afraid to cross the line and to go to the other expertise.
mhm.
And that's what somehow in architecture is still sort of narrow still. And I feel that there is so much more potential to do in it, just to reach so much more.
Right.
So I
Drawing more
really,
lines, yeah, of
yeah,
connection. Mhm.
yeah, connections, just multidisciplinary approach and stuff like that. I really, really appreciate as well. And there was a city planner. He was together with his girlfriend. They were just cutting the bags of chips and making
Mhm.
floor of the house and something, and they were just letting it see, how it looked and how it sounded. And
Yeah.
there was the other girl also playing a lot with the lights. Made some public space, and she was playing with the light in it. And DJ that made some recipes. So I really love that. So, that explains maybe why I can't stick to architecture, because somehow I love those transitions and like
Mhm.
broadening up my interests, and again trying to help
Mhm.
to move people to get further in their lives. I think that's one of the things that I really yeah.
Yeah, I was not
Like,
expecting it to go this way, but that's such an
no.
interesting, it's an interesting connection because architecture really is a human connected discipline.
Yeah, but you are saying that you didn't expect it, but this is me again, you know? It's my journey.
Mhm.
How my brain works, how I see the world, and who I am, just trying to help. And also my
Mhm.
therapist said once, you have a mission, Lydia. It's to help people.
Yes. When I hear this, like this description of like how our architecture can like be so fruitful for like the psyche, for our energy, I think too, like I lived in New York on and off for over 10 years. I lived there three different times, but a lot of like in New York City, you see, I mean, all over America, you see housing projects, which don't seem to be designed to create any sort of good energy or to make or help people feel energized. It's just kind of like how many units can we get in this space and like tiny little windows, like a step above a prison, really. And then I also think about like New York is known for its tiny apartments, a lot of which used to be tenement homes when the city was first being built. And just as it expanded and grew so quickly, it turned into very, very expensive apartments. So, what are your thoughts on like that sort of development and like where do you see opportunity for change?
I don't know. It's when you're talking about New York, it's more or less in Amsterdam, it's the same. And now Rotterdam is becoming
Mhm.
that too, you know. It's more and more expensive, you know. The just local people can't afford much. And it's about
Mhm.
again about square meters. And I'm working also on some projects. Just I'm not building it or designing it, but I'm just arranging it. And it's
Mhm.
like it's really it's difficult. It's not built for people. It has to be built, but there is such a big need for housing, and that's the
Right.
biggest problem. You know, what I'm talking about sounds like luxury. You know, it really sounds like luxury when I see the small dwellings
Mhm.
being designed, and I think, oh my God, how is it possible? But that's how it is, you know, and costs a lot of
Yeah.
money. And those big companies, they make big agreements about it. It's about money, economics, about yeah, that's how it is. And I think I don't know what it should happen in a society that we go this way, or maybe there are also and always, and I think everywhere, small groups of people which try to do this, but it's
Mhm.
like walking, if I translate it freely, against the windmills, you know? It's
Okay,
just
yeah.
like, yeah, it's just somehow you do something, but it's like you against the everybody else. It's not like that. Maybe as an experiment, yes, it's nice. And
Mhm.
it's there are also I mentioned Berlage Institute, and one of the people, the really architects whom I love is Aldo van Eyck. He also spent some time with his wife in Africa, and they
Mhm.
also they just were looking at those tribes in Africa, and that's how he built the orphanage in Amsterdam. Also, like all those small
Mm.
areas in between, you know, like having this private space, and
Mhm.
that's about space for people, and that was one of the base things of this institute. And I think also there are things are moving, changing, and I don't know, quite frankly, what's going on there, you know. But it just that was also initiative, and it worked well. But it's I think it's difficult, but it's I'm not saying it's not possible, because
Right.
I've never say that. And it's also I'm happy when there are other people which are interested in the same things, want to talk about it and want to change those the way how we look at things, and how
Right.
we should make society better for us, you know, for everybody actually, and that should be the normal thing, you know.
Right.
But sounds like utopistic when I'm saying it, but it's all small pieces will help, I think. Yeah.
Right. And when each person makes an influence, and to hear that you are teaching and able to kind of help people see things differently, can you talk more about that experience and even like how you transitioned from teaching to where you are now?
When and that was beautiful with students. At the beginning, I didn't felt comfortable. I felt really stupid. I felt I don't know much what I'm doing here, insecure.
Mm-hmm.
And bit by bit, I was just discovering things and just doing it how I was feeling. I was doing it from my gut.
Mm-hmm.
And that made a change. And I had very often students talking about it, especially introvert ones or insecure ones talking, oh, I can't do this. I don't feel good. I'm ill, this, that, many things. And, they were late with things. And my main thing was to first to make them feel comfortable. That was the first thing. Second thing was
Yeah.
I would ask them, why did you decide to study architecture? And then you will see them bright up, again
Mm-hmm.
talking about it. It's just hidden very deep, very deep.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Because we teach them something different. You have to do this is construction, this is architecture, this is about climate, this is about statistics, this is about this. All those pieces, bits and pieces we're giving to them and not letting them know for what at that moment.
Right.
Then that doesn't work. So, and by telling them, but again getting them back to their also the maybe unconscious part of their
Mm-hmm.
being, they're wanting, dreaming of something, because that's why they started. Most of them started studying architecture. And
Mm-hmm.
when I will arrive there with them, they will sort of line up with themselves, and then uh, they will get a voice while I was teaching them. At the beginning, some of them hated me. And 2 years later, when I will get them, some of them at the other topic, they will come, run to me and hug me. And I was like, what did I do? And I have this really, really beautiful relationship with some of them. I didn't see them for a long time. And I think I will arrange something, maybe and meet up with them, or the ones that I worked most of the time. But it just, that was the first thing, to make them feel comfortable. I discovered that
Mm-hmm.
this was the problem when I started in third year at bachelor, second, first year, and then I was doing this, just making selection of the students which could apply, because we had so many students every year. And
Oh
I was
yeah.
reading beautiful pieces. I was reading things. Are those people coming to study here? Are they studying here? Why don't see just few of them and not so many? And I was like, how is this possible? So that's what triggered me to ask those questions to my students. And when we will just go there, why are they there, and stuff like that, and what do they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and not what teachers tell them to do. Again, automatic pilot or copy
Right.
paste. That's really horrible. You can't be creative architect, never ever, if you start working on that way. And let me think. Yeah, and then bit by bit, in the groups, talking to them about it, also showing also the videos about Amanda Burden, for example. She inspired me a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
about Young Gale, about some other people, also Asian urban planners, and just to trigger them, and also to have discussion with them, not to tell
Mm-hmm.
them how to do it, how to think, but just to move them out their comfort zone, and after that having discussions with them. And after that, also like while designing, not letting him design just a house or outside, but just think about outskirts, think about garden, think even if you're not designing it, just to think that building has to
Mhm.
open up itself uh, to the outside world. It's not a fortress,
Mhm.
you know? So those kind of things. And
Yeah.
that was really, I loved that. I really enjoyed. I really went there with the music in my ears, literally. And also the,
Oh,
yeah, it was really beautiful.
that's really
Yeah.
cool that it involves so much visualization. Architecture, it sounds like as a profession and even especially learning about it requires a lot of
Y-
visualization, which
Yeah.
I think especially with new age philosophies, a lot of people are practicing visualization to manifest things they want and goals and things like that. But also with architecture and very much like design with you and your grandmother who is sewing your designs, it's you have a visualization, you have this idea, and then you see it come to life. So can you
Yes.
share about what that feels like to have a vision and see it come to life, and have you seen that in other parts of your life that's not necessarily like architecture but other types of goals?
Yes. Oh my God. I did that really, and I wasn't aware of also about of manifestations and visualizations, because I did so many things in my life by intuition. And
Mhm.
let me say, like in 2008, 2009, there was a crisis, and
Mhm.
I had to quit a job from architectural firm. And then I was at home having a lot of time to think and looking for some other things. And I decided that I would like to build, I would like to help young people. And that's also part of architecture. But actually, I was inspired by my children. They did many things with Lego. My son was building vertical cities when by the age of 3 or 4. And my daughter also built so many beautiful things, and they were like really building. And I thought if I could move other children to do it. So I started working within this NGO, and it was just also all the problems that appeared that children had to deal with. Like I will ask them, uh, did you ever arranged or designed your sleeping room, your bedroom? Or did you have part of redesigning of your home and stuff like that? Would you like to have your voice being raised in society while your playground is being arranged? That was what I was doing, and I love that. And I that wasn't enough, because I thought I really need to change something. I was seeing myself as Amanda Byrne of Rotterdam, actually. That's what I was seeing.
Mhm.
I was really, really having really, really big dreams, really, very big dreams. And I was doing that, and then suddenly also at my children's school, there was, as you know, probably Dutch people, they cycle a lot, and
Mhm.
every
Yeah.
people, children cycling to school, and there was a problem at school, with those things, and parents coming by parents coming by bicycle didn't agree with each other, and I thought we have to do something about it. And I made this also part of my foundation of the NGO, also with Lego, building the school environments and letting children, pupils from school, their teachers, parents, and also some of the colleagues from university and my students, fellow teachers, they all were involved in my sessions. And that was beautiful. And I really wanted to dream even bigger. And
Mhm.
um, I applied for some funds, and I thought, what the heck, I'm going to dream big. And I wanted to
Mhm.
have really big session with, let's say, 1,000 people. and I wanted to about changes in a city and stuff like that. And that was part of this a form that I applied for this for this fund or for
Mhm.
subsidies. And not long after that, I was asked for two things. There was the big session with 150 people in Rotterdam, 75 children from 1940 and 75 children from now. And they were building city in the library of Rotterdam together with me and one of the uh, well-known architects, Rotterdam
Uh-huh.
architect Winnie Maas from MV RDW. And they really all built the city from Lego. And there were presentations and stuff like that. And I loved it. I was proud of
Yeah.
myself. It was really beautiful. And then, but that was not it. There is also this foundation for Child in a City. It's a World Foundation for the Rights of the Children in the World.
Uh-huh.
And
Love that.
yeah, and they found me. I don't know how well, I think through this dream of mine.
Yeah.
And they asked me if I want to do a session. And I did a session with, let's say, how do you call it, like architects, also the people working for municipalities, for government, from all around the world. And also youngsters from the school, from my son. That's also the school for highly intelligent children. And I worked with them
Mhm.
before. So they were building like child-friendly school environment or building families apartments. And
Mhm.
when they say family, and I really wanted to do this badly, I thought apartment for a family in a city, you don't put a building just there. You have to do environments,
Right.
environment just to child friendly, places to play, I don't know, cycle paths, some other things. Yeah, that's what we did that one, and it was also a big success. And I think that was the end of it.
For you or just in
Eh,
general?
yeah, for me, I could go further because they asked me again to write a book with one of those social geographers. I don't know. I was
Mhm.
asked to write a book with her and also maybe to give some lectures internationally. And I was willing, but then something in my private um, area happened.
Mhm.
Things started changing and I just lost energy for it and I just didn't
Mm.
do anything anymore. And at NGO, just I did some things, but not with this energy, not on that level, because sky
Mhm.
was the limit and at that moment. But again, it can be very hard sometimes. So
Right. I think
yeah.
that's a beautiful example of how the energy that we put out into the world returns back to us, and more opportunities come even when we're not, even and even especially when we're not looking for them, when we are following our passion and just enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. As it just, I felt sometimes I was flying, It just,
Mhm.
it felt like, it felt so beautiful. It was just in those sessions and everything. It was just ecstasy, It was
Mhm.
beautiful. I think I reached the maximum in it. I was just so happy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's
It was really,
awesome.
yeah, it was really, and I'm really yearning for it again, But again, I'm going further on my journey, so.
Yes. What advice would you give to someone or to anyone about following your instincts? Because I feel like that's just such a great example of following
I
your
will.
instincts.
I'm not going to. This is just because this is at this moment that you ask this. I have picture of Djokovic, world-known tennis
Tennis player.
player.
Yeah.
I never do anything about it, but the last thing that he said for young generation, just to dream and to let their dreams become the truth, just
Mhm.
to visualize that, to dream. And I the same. It's just if you want something, just go for it and dream big. Dream. Don't
Mhm.
let the grown ups let you let them destroy that. It's just if you have a dream, just go for it and look how you're going to. It's not going to be tomorrow or a week
Mhm.
after that. It's going to take a long journey, and even if you don't reach it, there is a longer path to it. You learn something from all those obstacles, and you will reach the goal probably when you are not expecting it, but just
Yes.
if you're enjoying it and not thinking that you're not able to reach it.
Right.
So
I
I
think
think
that's, yeah, a good nugget. Like the journey will be long. There's no instant gratification, but
no,
if follow what brings you joy and know that
yes,
there will be obstacles.
yeah, sure. But the thing is, most of the time when there are obstacles, we think, I know even when I was a child, I would think I did something wrong. But
Mhm.
it's not about doing right or wrong. It's just about obstacle. It's maybe meant to teach you some skills, to give you some skills. And
Absolutely.
yeah, just to embrace it and thank for it and just go further, and then there'll be less and less obstacles because you will become stronger and stronger day by day.
I love
And
that.
yeah, so yeah.
So we've connected through life coaching, and I want to ask you just briefly what brought you into the space of being a life coach.
Okay. I told you that there's something's changed in
Mhm.
private sphere, and that was really from let's say 5 years ago. It just my mother-in-law was ill, and that it influenced my ex-husband, and everything um, changed.
Mhm.
And it was like I was living in a strange world. Like I wasn't living in a. I was like Alice in Wonderland. Uh,
Mm.
I wasn't aware of the world in which I was living. I knew that something was wrong in my marriage, but I didn't know what. And with my urge to always to help people, I
Mhm.
wanted to help him. And let's say in 2020, my one of my doctors, orthomolecular doctor, told me, if you go like this, you won't become 60. You look horrible. You look old. You always look young and full of energy. This is not good. So I was after that I divorced. It just had some therapy and getting better.
Mhm.
I lost myself and I was again getting back to myself. Or what friend of mine told me, you are like in that relationship. This relationship defragmented you. We lost you completely. You are isolated. So let me say, it was a journey
Mhm.
um, that I really was again rediscovering myself, discovered that why I've been for so long time in this relationship, that my inner child was hurt badly, and that I just I was trying to forget myself just by
Mhm.
helping the others, and that's maybe why this urge to help the world, you know that
Right.
was the urge to help the world. And maybe sometimes I wasn't even helping my own children. That discovery, really, I was like, whoa, wait a second. So and on this path I was, let me say, being divorced and my children had a really hard time, and I was changing and seeing what's happening. But you can't turn your children against their father. That's really the worst thing that you can do. How bad or good someone is, it's not your part. They have to have their own journey and discover everything, and I have just to forgive everything and just to go further. So the first thing that I went to some therapy, also narcissistic therapist,
Mhm.
or actually their specialism was narcissism, and talked to them and talked to one of those therapists. And first part of my journey was I went to Bali just to work with my grief on my grief,
Mhm.
to retreat, and I've been 3 times already, and it helped me a lot. And I thought I needed to go further to again to do something more about it, and I applied for education in UK, breakup and divorce coaching from Sarah Davison, and I'm busy with it, but I just didn't finish it. And I thought it's too negative at that moment. Afterwards, actually, I need something more, something else. I need
Mhm.
something positive, to hold on to it. And then I did some other sessions, and I was following Jay Shetty for I don't know, for those 4 or 5 years on Facebook, but I didn't know anything about him, and I just seen him like everybody else. And then again on Instagram, and there was this book of his about I don't even know the name, 8 ways of love, I think it's called. I'm not
Okay.
quite sure. I'm not quite sure. And I was listening many podcasts and everything. And then again through Instagram, it came to me, that people could apply for this education. And on my journey from the moment that I divorced till now, there were so many things happened, bad things, really bad things. Also, I had few accidents, and also I had some financial things that shouldn't be happening, but I let them happen. And I discovered that this journey of the life coach, actually, part of it is to help yourself. It's like a mirror for yourself, and part of it's
Mhm.
to help other people.
Totally.
And that's the one part of it. And the other one is while being on Bali, while surfing, after having some accidents and not being able to skate or to do anything, and being on surfboard, I felt freedom.
Mm.
And I wanted to feel this freedom again. And things that I talked about before were also my freedom. And I
Mhm.
thought I want to have a job that I could do from all around the world in my pace, on just how I wanted, you know. And I want
Mhm.
still to help people, but again, help myself and help others also sometimes, also with my experiences, not to tell them always because what I've been through, that's not part of the coaching, right? But
Mhm.
it's also it helps me to have different reference, how I see the world and how I see people, how I should approach them. So that's one of the reasons. Well, there are few of reasons why I applied for this education actually and why I want to become a life coach.
That's
Eh,
amazing. I'm excited for you and your journey.
Yeah, and also I even decide. I also know. Thank you. I also I also thought I've been through a lot, and this education in UK about like breakup and divorce coaching. When
Uh-huh.
I go through this, when I finish this one and I have my company again, and I know how to approach it, then I will finish that part because I want to do that coaching for a part. And also I
Mhm.
want to coach. There is the other passion of mine. It's the education for highly intelligent children.
Mhm.
I want, again, I did it for some years and I want to help to do this one again that's also the other dream of mine, just to lead highly intelligent people to feel confident in this world, not to feel afraid to be different.
Or isolated even. I think that, yeah.
Yeah. So it's also that journey, you know. Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
that's and I see it, you know, and I'm also dreaming about this Ikigai society. I thought when I grow old, I want to go to Japan to live there. I've been to
Mm.
Bali and I think I want to live there because it feels like Ikigai.
Hmm.
But then also one colleague of mine, or one coach of mine at work said, "But why don't you make your own Ikigai in the Netherlands?" So I don't know, you know, I will take one step. Well, I'm taking few steps every time when I do it. So
Yeah.
also right now, but just to be patient with myself and
Yes.
with everything around me, and just be happy about every experience. Also about experience meeting you and talking to you and this
Yeah.
interview. Yeah,
Oh, it's been a beautiful conversation. I think a
thank
lot
you,
of people will find benefit from it.
thank
And
you.
you just seem like someone who is so talented at having a vision and seeing it through. So I'm really excited to see where you end up and like how your journey unfolds.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I have goosebumps again.
We'll have to
Yeah,
check in again. Yeah, we'll
sure.
definitely have to check in again.
Okay, okay. Nice talking to you.
So
Thank you,
nice talking to
Courtney.
you. Thank you, Lydia. Thanks for sharing your
Thank you.
story.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you for joining us today. If you like what you heard, please subscribe and join us in our next conversation where we'll be exploring the extraordinary lives of ordinary people. I'm Courtney Lofton, and this is Ordinary Eccentrics.